the injury attorneys at The Advocates can't actually prevent you from being in a cycling accident, they will be by your side to support you following your accident. Our legal services won't cost you a dime out of pocket, so when you need an injury attorney, call us. We're The Advocates, your Utah personal injury attorneys. You didn't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, happy Wednesday. Already the 24th of April. The Monty Show is always presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. You get hurt at work, if you get in a car accident, man, I'll tell you, driving yesterday, almost getting murked by a semi-truck again on Bangerter Highway here in the great state of Utah, folks. You got to have the advocates ready because it's not a matter of if, but when you need an injury attorney. And trust me when I say when you get in an accident or you get hurt at work, you trip and fall, you get hurt at the grocery store, you always have that, do I need an attorney? The answer is yes. Yes, you do. Chat with an attorney live online for free at theadvocates.com. Hello, good morning. Always a pleasure to be with you on the show. A lot to get to today. I already see in the comment section that Aaron Wilson is accusing people of being fake. Aaron Wilson says Pete Forte is a fake person because Pete said good morning. Okay. Well, I mean, that certainly is one way to go about it. I don't know that I would be calling Pete Forte AI generated, but please do expound. OG Gary first went in. Mike Smith, hello. Dakota Tubbs. What's up, my fellow Glizzy Goblins? I don't know that I would say fellow. Lil Jizzy this morning. Loner phone. You know. Aaron says, Fug, it's early. It is, but that's why, Pete Forte, the AI bot.
Yeah, up and ready to go.
Good to see him. All right, let's kick it off talking about the G5 in the playoff. Can the G5 take their power back? A very interesting conversation is being had, and I think it is the inevitable. It is the only path forward if you are the G5, because you look at the damage that the Big Ten and the SEC have done to college football. And yes, I said damage that the Big Ten and the SEC have done by driving division, by driving inequitable revenue sharing that makes it impossible for college football to exist as we know it. And it absolutely cripples the G5 conferences in the equation of college football. New reports out by CBS Sports are saying that private money is driving a possible G5 playoff structure independent of the college football playoff. And it is something that we've talked about on the show pretty regularly. And not to anybody's surprise, people we talked to yesterday passionately in favor of the G5 taking back their own identity. And I think that's very interesting phraseology. The G5 taking back their own identity, because when you look at what happened with the Big Ten and the SEC and where we are headed with NIL and all the lawsuits, and the G5 has become invisible to the point where there's not a lot of roads forward. There is not a lot of paths forward for the G5. Taking back their power by forming their own playoff could be one of those roads forward. Now, according to CBS Sports, they are looking at private money. They are looking at Derek Dooley, who is obviously a big name in college football. He has heritage. He has DNA. The Dooley name is significant. Derek Dooley is obviously one of those guys who's been a very high-level assistant. He is out as a salesman for private money, private equity firms, and a conglomerate of private equity funds. Derek Dooley is out shopping those funds to the G5 to build a playoff. Is it sustainable? I don't know. But Jake, is it the only path forward for the G5?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the only way that they can make any type of substantial money or difference-making money. I think that it's fantasy land to sit here and think that, oh, well, the G5 is going to find their way in the college football playoff. The G5 is not going to find anything. They're going to get a couple of spots, and then they're going to lose in their first game every single year. They have no business being on the same football field as a P4, and that's not because the G5 sucks. That's not because somehow the G5 is lesser. It's just the situation. It's just, a different level of resources in the power conferences. It's just a different level of talent. And so I feel like it would be, it's naive to think that, these two, playing fields somehow should be competing on the same field. For that reason alone, yeah, I do think it's inevitable. I do think the G5 needs its own college football playoff. I do think that because they are smaller institutions, private money's dollar goes further with the G5 than it potentially would with a Power 4 program. And yeah, sure, does Georgia have more marketing sway per se than Tulane does? Yeah, sure, absolutely. But at the same time, it's all situational. If there's a company in Louisiana that wants to do a marketing buy, they're probably going to be more interested in doing something locally than some huge national thing at the power level. So that's why I say I do think it's inevitable. I do think it's necessary. I do think we need a bridge for the G5 to play a Power 4 school if they somehow are just an awesome team on a one-off year. You need to have a way to do that. But generally speaking, I just don't think it's fair to really anybody to be having a lower skilled, lower, revenue generating situation playing one that's got the best talent the country has to offer, making the most money possible that you can make. It's just not a fair thing. So yeah, the G5 has to have its own income, its own playoff, and its own system, no doubt.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I don't think it's. I don't know. Is viable the word? I mean, is there a TV audience for arguably two of the best G5 teams playing for a private money championship or a private money payday? I don't know. I think that remains to be seen. But what I do know is that the G5 can't just thumb its nose at the college football playoff. There has to be a gateway, a path for a G5 champion to contend in the college football playoffs as one of those, 7 teams, the 5+7 model. I think there will be I think it has to be. It's mandatory because I think the damage. And I don't know. I think this is an interesting conversation. Did the Big Ten and the SEC destroy college football? I believe very passionately that Greg Sankey destroyed college football. I think his lording over, his threats, his gangster mentality, which I understand. I back in 2022 when everybody decided to do nothing. Inaction is certainly the best motivator for those that want action. And I think Greg Sankey very clearly wanted a change. But I think the idea that you are going to hold a gun to the head of the rest of college football, nothing good ever comes from that.
And I just think there's too many numbers against Greg Sankey. Like, there are too many people who don't benefit by the SEC benefiting to think that long-term that this type of setup is going to work. I mean, at some point you have to have a system that benefits more than just the SEC in the Big Ten, and frankly, benefits more than just the big boys in those two conferences. Because let's not forget that this is not just about, making sure that everyone in your conference gets paid. This is about making sure that the teams that go to the college football playoff and contend every year make the absolute top of the mountain money. So when we have major change, like systematic, again, whether that's Super League or otherwise, that those brands are taken care of, that those brands 1000% are secured and they can go on for as long as, they need to go on. And I think that's what upsets people. That's what bothers people. And to which I say right now in the current system, the G5 ain't going to do anything about it. And I agree. You probably don't have 5 million people looking to watch some random G5 game. But if you can somehow find a way to get private money incentivized or give them a reason to do something, anything's possible because they have so much money. And to that, I say, hey, that's why the Derek Dooleys of the world are out here, trying to sell schools on getting involved because they have a pile of money. Now you need the schools to meet them in the middle to figure something out.
Yeah, I think the news that that like Michigan, the whole Michigan scandal and the outright refusal to address blatant cheating, blatant rule breaking, blatant just lack of ethics in winning football games. I think that is a big indicator as to what the culture in the Big Ten is. And the win at all cost mentality that I think very much stained the game of college football for the last playoff cycle. I think that was allowed because, well, it was Michigan and it was the Big Ten and they're making $100 million a year. I truly think that's why Michigan was allowed to compete for a championship. I don't know if that had been a Big 12 or an ACC team. If what Michigan had been caught doing was Florida State, would we be having the same conversation? I don't think we would. I think when you are in a weaker position, you have no leverage. And so I think when you look at what the Big Ten and the SEC have done here, I don't know how you make the argument they have not damaged college football. I don't know how you make the argument that they have not done at least as much damage as these NIL transfer lawsuits have done. And yes, I think on a monetary basis, the NIL lawsuits are far more impactful than the structure and the revenue sharing that we're dealing with. But there's no way to argue that what the Big Ten and the SEC did really hurt most conferences in college sports. I mean, outside of the Pac-12, who had nothing to do, their meltdown had nothing to do with it. Other than that, there's no question that the SEC and the Big Ten damaged the ACC. They damaged the Big 12. They damaged the G5s. I don't even know how you argue that.
Yeah, I mean, I think greed in the sport and the current system, plays to that on so many levels. I think, on some level, do Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti really have a choice to be greedy given their current situation, based on the fact that the Pac-12 just melted down? I mean, if you're those two and you're watching a conference meltdown on sheer bad business, strategies, are you not sitting there saying, yeah, we're going to do everything we can to fortify ourselves? We're going to leverage our position in the sport to the furthest degree possible to insulate ourselves. And so I don't like it, but the reality is that, they're playing defense by playing offense. They're saying, hey, we're going to secure our future to a point where, there's no doubt left. And the byproduct of that is ruining the sport. Yes, 100%.
I look at, and I think the announcement by Trev Alberts at Texas A&M yesterday, I don't know how many people saw that. Texas A&M whacked a significant number of people in their athletic department yesterday. You're no longer needed. They released a statement saying a significant number of people were informed today that their jobs are no longer needed at Texas A&M. That's crazy. You look at the rule changes. Speaking of Michigan, did anybody notice the rule changes that will now allow analysts to be on the field coaching players in dark periods? Like, it's wild to me that you don't want the rules to apply to you in the Big Ten or the SEC, so you change the rules.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy to me. And you look at the money that we are throwing around in the SEC and the Big Ten, and I don't see any other avenue forward for the G5. I think this is the only way that you can do this. And our sources told us yesterday that Oregon State is still very aggressively trying to figure out how to compete at a higher level in college football and college athletics in general. And that Oregon State is being aggressive, being innovative, and open to a lot of these ideas, because I think they understand there is likely not a path for Oregon State to get back to the upper echelons of college football, at least not soon. And if that is in fact the situation, what choice do they have but to try and take all the money that they could take?
Yeah.
And the answer is, I don't think they have a choice. I don't think they have a choice.
Well, and I think that, with Oregon State, like you look at Washington State, both of those situations are tough. And I said it the day it happened, but as soon as the court stuff in the Pac-12 between those two and the 10 who left, as soon as that was wrapped up, you can kind of see the writing on the wall. Pat Chun of Washington State leaves, goes to Washington, and then now Kirk Schultz is basically retiring.
Yeah.
And so it's just this whole thing where out of on mostly like a 90% basis, like of no fault of their own, they've now had to change leadership personnel. They're not going to make money. Like the whole thing is just messed up because access is not the same for everybody. And that conundrum is what has to be solved. You have to have a way to have schools who are not the SEC and the Big Ten, because I'm telling you, this is going to apply to the ACC sooner rather than later. You have to have a way for these schools to make enough money to maybe not thrive, but to comfortably get by.
But I also think you have to look at the size of the university is irrelevant, in my opinion. Like you look at Stanford is not a big university. You look at some of the academic universities that we're talking about. You look at a university like Rice or SMU is not a huge university. Rice is not a huge university. It in my opinion, a lot of it is revenue and brand. It is as simple as that. I mean, those that have invested in stadiums, commerce staff, sales staff, branding staffs, the ones that have spent money to make money, those are the universities that over the last 2 decades have grown and have grown not only in size, scope, and revenue, but in stature. And you also look at universities like Stanford. Stanford, the Farm is not a nice stadium. The Farm is an empty stadium most weeks. You look at UCLA's struggles. UCLA is not a large athletic department, but they're a P5 university. But does UCLA spend to win games? Do they spend money on the same level that a university like Michigan, who wasted tens of millions of dollars in legal fees by some accounts, just to defend a guy and then pull out of his defense at the 11th hour? UCLA can't do that. Cal Berkeley can't do that. But all of them are supposedly on level playing fields, only they're not. So I look at somebody like you look at Fresno State or Boise State or San Diego State, or those are not small universities. They're just tiny brands. Nobody knows. Do you know who the top draft prospect out of Fresno State is, or out of Boise State is, or you don't, because they're a G5 and you don't have to pay attention. I'm telling you, this idea that we can have, Stanford's a P5 university. They're massive. They're not massive. People don't understand that just because you're in a P5 does not mean you're bigger than a G5. And I think there's some interesting conversation to be had around that. There is some very interesting conversation to be had around that. Not nearly as interesting as Prize Picks. I actually took a night off of Prize Picks last night.
Yeah, smart choice. I lost everything on Prize Picks last night. So
because you're not good at it.
That's correct.
I have been on the tidal wave at Prize Picks, the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. And I'm pretty glad that I did that, because I was going in on Kevin Durant last night, and Kevin Durant was not going in on me winning Prize Picks. Kevin Durant is old.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have next hour, we're going to have a conversation about the Suns and Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Brad Beal, who all played 40 minutes last night, and they look like it. But I am glad last night, when you put some ducats on a game, and you're like, I think I'm going to sit this one out. I would have lost across the board. I'd have lost on Cody Bellinger, who left the game last night injured. Because the Cubs are just, I think the Cubs have more money in payroll on the injured list than they do on the active roster. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, probably. That's how it goes for them.
And the Cubs are playing well. I mean, they throttled the Astros, which is great. But Kyle Hendricks, Is anybody prepared to tell me that I understood and that you apologize? Like, are you going to apologize to me about my Kyle Hendricks takes? That he should never have gotten a contract extension?
Who else are they going to go and get? That's their problem.
That's the Ricketts effect. The Cubs don't spend. Anyway, yesterday was a terrible day in sports. Injuries for the Cubs, Chelsea Football Club. I don't know why you're even going to field a team. I don't know what you lost 5-0 to Arsenal. Now, the beauty of it is that Arsenal probably wins as many trophies as we do this year, which is fine. We need none. Screw them. But it'll be interesting to see how all of that plays out. Anyway, prizepicks.com, download the app. I'm getting back into the fray tonight because there's some interesting NBA and MLB. This morning, while I was not wanting to get out of bed, I was looking at the board for Prize Picks, which of course now won't open the app for me because I probably spoke ill of the dead. I was looking at the points, rebounds, assists tonight. Jason Tatum at home for against Miami. Jason Tatum is 40.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I feel like 40.5 is a low number in a playoff game for him.
It should be pretty safe.
But then you have Shea Gilgeous-Alexander at 40.5 against New Orleans. Although I'm a little worried about OKC. So I like those two a lot. And then in Major League Baseball, don't look now, but the New York Yankees are starting to hit the baseball. Anthony Rizzo had another one last night. Start picking the Yankees to hit home runs on Prize Picks. Pretty simple. Anthony Rizzo, 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Will he have 2 or will he have 1? More or less than 1.5. That's all you have to do. That's your entire thing. Make a deposit at prizepicks.com. They'll match it as long as you use the promo code Monty. MONTY Monty for your Prize Picks downloads. Get 100% deposit matching when you use that code. And then shoot me a screenshot of your Prize Picks. Let's compete. I'm happy to do it. You will win. You will beat me because I am not good at Prize Picks. There you have it. All right, let's hear from you, Lamont Tucker, our newest member.
Let's go, Lamont.
Lamont, good to see you this morning. As always, Lamont Tucker. Hey, folks, make sure you join our membership. Hello. Make sure you join our membership. What you'll see there is that you're going to find out pretty quick that our entry-level membership is $1.99 a month, and that our members-only content is simply $10 a month, and it gets you into our members-only Instagram chat. So we love that. So appreciate you, Lamont Tucker. Welcome to the membership. RJC Loaner Phone. Great points, Monty. ESPN controls the narratives. I don't know about that. It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
I think ESPN just inevitably has power because they're ESPN right now, and there's not the structure runs through them. Like, I don't think that ESPN is going to decide, the new version of college football we get on their own. I mean, they're certainly going to be in the conversation because they're ESPN, but it's not correct to say that ESPN just controls everything and they're like overseeing the entire sport. Do they have a lot of power? Yeah, sure. They have power. Yeah. But they also are still just a TV network. They're not the head of a university. They're not, so just to say they control narrative is not wrong, but it is a little strong.
Yeah, and I think you're looking at hey, listen, I'm a Notre Dame fan. We're not in business with ESPN yet. I say, because we're, as a university, if Notre Dame makes the college football playoff, they're getting $18.5 million a year. That's a lot of scratch, dude. Like, when you look at the structure and the revenue model in college football, $18.5 million a year for Notre Dame. I don't even think Notre Dame's worth $18.5 million, which is far more than the ACC and the Big 12 get at $12 to $14 million. So you're guaranteeing Notre Dame $12.5 million. And if they make the college football playoff, they get a $6 million bonus. $18.5 million. You're telling me Notre Dame's worth $18.5 million a year. They're not. I'm telling you, Marcus Freeman can't even put 11 guys on the field against Ohio State.
Yeah, well, and that's why I think they're worth the $18.5 million, because that's all anybody talked about, and that's essentially what powered Ohio State to where they got to, and that's why Notre Dame's constantly in the picture.
I guess. I mean, I listen. I think when Notre Dame football is good, it's better for college football. There's no question about that. But do I think that Notre Dame's worth $18.5 million? I don't. So Notre Dame, which is in business with NBC, that's who owns their TV contract and all their home games. I don't know. Would I like to see Notre Dame in the Big Ten? Not unless it becomes mandatory. Is mandatory the right word? Not unless it becomes mandatory. I don't know that I would want to see Notre Dame in the Big Ten. I think when I look at the way that Notre Dame thrives right now, and if you're making $18.5 million, and trust me when I say they're generally a top 12 team, they're going to be in the college football playoff every year. Why would we join a conference? Why would you go all in on the ACC? You never would. Why would you go, all in on the Big Ten? Well, if the ACC melts down, you got to have somewhere to go with your secondary sports, right? Do you really think Notre Dame's joining the Big 12?
No.
You think Notre Dame's joining the SEC? No. It's Big Ten if they join a conference. But there's no reason for Notre Dame to join a conference.
No.
When you're giving them $18.5 million to make the playoff, that's wild money to me. Wild money. And I think if you've watched this show for any amount of time, you know I am truly a Notre Dame homer. And I think you're just wasting money. You are just wasting money. Les Austin, you're a hack, Monty. Okay. And your co-host. We know you love the Big 12. Stop crying and bitching every day.
Well, it seems like you love the show because you seem to be watching the show regularly. So.
Well, let's put it on the list. Don't forget that I'm a fat, old, dying Mormon. I'm not. I'm not Mormon. I'm not dying. Am I fat? Well, that depends on what your mom thinks. I love the Pac-12. I hate the Pac-12. I now apparently love the Big 12. And how many people on this show have accused me of hating the Big 12? I see that you're a Michigan fan, which, hey, you can say what you want. Were we wrong about anything related to what we reported about Michigan?
Or where Jim Harbaugh was going to go?
No, I don't think we were. But hey, I appreciate the comment. It helps the show grow. UW fan Jim, I disagree. Big Ten taking USC and UCLA killed the Pac-12. It did not.
No, and the Big Ten didn't take them. USC and UCLA went on their own.
The USC UCLA did not kill the Pac-12. Horrendous mismanagement. The inability to recognize who you are and where you are and what your value was post USC and UCLA. That's what killed you. Because let's not forget, I don't think they did, but listen, you listen to the Pac-12 diehards, the great radio wizard of the Northwest reporting that they had a massive $500 million TV deal on the way that never materialized. That's what killed the Pac-12. The fact that Larry Scott sat at Pac-12 Media Day several years ago and told us he was talking to YouTube and never talked to YouTube. Why they did not do a deal with Amazon Prime Sports, why they did not do a deal with YouTube, Google, why they did not have Pac-12 Network on DirecTV. That's what killed the Pac-12. Inaction, when you allowed USC and UCLA to leave and blindside you with the news they were leaving, that's what killed the Pac-12. You had leadership who wasn't in touch with the constituency. USC and UCLA, that was not a death blow. Did it damage their value and their brand? Of course it did. Of course it did. Is that the reason the Pac-12 failed? No, it's not. It is not. And frankly, I think Oregon's inability to win a national championship far more damaging than USC and UCLA leaving. Because if we're truth-telling, and I'm a huge believer in Lincoln, I'm a huge believer in USC football. What in the flip-flop have they won since Pete Carroll and Reggie Bush lost their Heisman Trophy, and Pete ran off to make terrible play calls at the goal line in Seattle. What has USC won? When has UCLA been relevant? They're not. They haven't been. They haven't been. So if we're talking about money and leverage, USC and UCLA have not had leverage and money, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They have not at all. Mike Smith, Mountain Mama. That beard, dude. Come on. Early morning Monty Hack Show. That's what we do here. We're hacks and my co-host, which is fine. Big Blue Horses. The pack was killed by bad commissioners and presidents who clung to a failed model. Truth. Absolutely truth. Jeremiah Champion. What's wrong with loving the Big 12? Apparently I'm a Big 12 homer now, guys. Don't forget. Even though I take a ton of heat for being a Notre Dame fan.
Hey, you start talking shit.
We have drops specifically dedicated to Notre Dame on this show. And now I am
Notre Dame, our mother.
a Big 12 lover. Okay, that's fine. Better than Pac dead, truth. Jeremiah Champion, hey, but at least they are fun to watch. Exactly. As Pac-12 lovers. That was the best. You just love the Pac-12, Monty. I know. You hate the Pac-12, Monty. You want to see us fail. I know. I don't think the Big Ten is done expanding. If they can get one from Texas. So let me get this right. Texas A&M is going to leave the SEC to go to the Big Ten.
We show up.
And one from Florida, FSU. They will truly be a national brand. So they're not a national brand now. I would completely disagree. Why would Texas A&M go to the Big Ten? Why would it's quite literally in the state of Texas, which again is a battleground right now between the Big 12 and the SEC. But with our friends in Austin going to the SEC and our friends in Dallas going to Las Vegas for Big 12 Media Days, and maybe that fight's over.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. San Diego State Glenn, good morning. Welcome to G5 Hump Day Hate Fest. There you go. Then now we hate the G5. I agree, Glenn. They suck. Terrible.
Brutal.
Hope you got the pro rata you deserved last night. Les Austin, my family up right now laughing at you guys hating on other teams and conferences. Well, at least we make you laugh, Les.
And again, appreciate you watching, man.
Yeah, the comments really help the show. They literally have their own bus system for the students. Jeremiah Champion. Texas Tech's campus is huge. Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. Did somebody say Texas Tech was a small school? Okay. Jeremiah Champion, no one cares, Austin. Exactly. But I hope your family's well. Mike Smith, nice to know you have your family watching the show. I'm sure Monty thanks you for the support and the views. That's the best part. Oh, man, we're sitting there laughing at you guys. We appreciate that.
We show up.
We appreciate that. Yeah, you show up, and we appreciate that. Jeremiah Champion, these LMFAO, these people every morning don't understand they're still helping him by watching and commenting and laughing. Jeremiah also says lies, but I do figure most do that can have 7,000 or more students. Just seems logical. Yeah. I think the G5 needs to take back their destiny, their future, you need to cut your own path here if you're the G5. I just don't know.
Yeah, you can't continue to allow the power conferences to just decide what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, totally agree. Josh, a Utah State fan. Hello. No. I, for one, hope that we do form our own. I have been an advocate for it for a long time. We need to build our own brand and resources. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And you look at, again, go back to San Diego State with Glenn and look at what San Diego State tried to do with the infamous pro rata we deserve. They tried to get out of the G5. They were all set to join the Pac-12 until they weren't. Right? And I understand the struggle that it is to be the G5. I understand when you think you're a P4 and you're in the G5 and you can't get out. It's incredibly frustrating. It is incredibly frustrating, and I agree with that sentiment. 100%, I agree with that sentiment. Let's see. Well, how Aaron Wilson gifted a Monty Show membership.
Good job, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that, as always. Always good to see you. Lamont Tucker's a new member, not once, but twice. Okay, Lamont, we appreciate you again. If you join the membership on the Monty program, look at that. Lamont Tucker upgraded to members only. We like that. Make sure you DM Jake and get in on our members only Instagram group. $9.99 a month gets you our members only content. That group on Instagram is awesome. Whether it is Alex Cooley celebrating the death of the Phoenix Suns last night, apparently, and pronouncing all NBA series are only 2 games long. Okay. Or arguing over the Big 12, or we have had epic debates about Michigan.
It's well worth your money.
It's a great group of guys. It is a great group of guys. Let's see. John Jarai, hello. Good to see you. Richard McDonald. I'm actually awake with the show is going, yay newborns, or wait. I don't know if you're awake or not, but that's phenomenal, which is great. Noel Ramirez, Les Austin Jr. is a hack. Okay.
Still watching the show, bro.
Lamont Tucker, I think something wrong with my account. I've been a member for over a year, and now I'm reduced to a new entry level. Listen, that's the pro rata you deserve, Lamont. The pro rata you deserve. Mike Smith, keep Notre Dame away from the Big 12, please. Please. If Notre Dame joins, what would induce Notre Dame to join the Big 10? Because that's the only conference they're joining. I think if Duke and Carolina bail on the ACC, it's over. I think Florida State, if Florida State leaves on its own, even if Clemson goes, I don't know, is that enough to move? Well, if those guys go, isn't Carolina and Duke going too?
I think Carolina and Duke have their own plan outside of anything Clemson and Florida State would do. And I think
I would agree.
Notre Dame, North Carolina, and Duke are in a different cut than Clemson and FSU are. And I think that the only thing that would get Notre Dame to move or to join the Big Ten would be a loss of revenue, a loss of opportunity, getting put in a situation where you can't continue to make a bunch of money as a air quotes independent. Like that would be the only thing. They have no incentive to change until they have a reason. Like that. I just wouldn't move unless someone was like, yeah, you're not going to be able to schedule, as an example, you're not going to be able to schedule anymore because conference structures change. So as an independent, you're not going to get access anymore, or it would take something on that level.
I agree. UW fan Jim just saying there was no TV deal that would work once the LA market was gone. They had multiple opportunities.
Yeah, the issue, it's not a Big Ten issue. Like, they only went to the Big Ten because the Pac-12 wouldn't do a TV deal for like a decade. Like, that's the problem. Like, everyone wants to talk about, oh, well, the Pac-12 network is so awesome. Yeah, that's great. It could be a Lamborghini of a TV network that nobody watches. No one,
right.
Honest to God, nobody watched it. So, and nobody watched it because you couldn't find it. Like, and at that time, streaming wasn't a thing.
ESPN took a hard line because the Pac-12 asked for $500 million. $500 million. Like, you're not like the biggest failing. And yeah, I just think it was a failing of leadership. It is what it is. Dakota Tubbs, wow, having a self-effacing morning. I'm a hack.
Wow.
Hack a shack, exactly. Hash slinging slasher. Say that fast 10 times. Pac-12 had no plan, Loner Phone says. I agree. For grins and giggles, Glenn says living alumnus. Cal Berkeley, 450,000. Stanford, 220,000. San Diego State, 400,000. Oregon, 250,000. Oregon State, 250,000. Can't find Wazoo's number. And I think you look at San Diego State. Why does San Diego State have a massive alumni base? Well, because it's an awesome place to go to school. We know many people who are graduates and alumni. It is affordable, and it's San Diego, and it's Top Gun, and it's Mexican food, and it's an amazing place to go to school, and it's a good university. Now, it'd be nice if you guys won a football game occasionally every 5 years, but now you got a basketball program that's actually fun to support. And it's a great university. Why does Cal Berkeley and Stanford have a very small alumni base, comparatively speaking? Well, it's really hard to get into. It's super expensive. And graduating from Cal and Stanford is damn near impossible. So you have to take into effect, why is Oregon a smaller alumni base? Well, because it's in Eugene, Oregon. It's not on the beach in San Diego with 6-foot blondes rocking C cups in a bikini. Big difference. Big difference. And we always think of universities as sports entities. They're not. And if we learned anything through expansion, and again, UW fan Jim, the collapse of the Pac-12, the academics in the Pac-12 were going to hold on as long as they could. And they did. And they absolutely did. But this tells you that the university itself is not what determines a P5 and a G5. Or now a P4. It's a very interesting conversation. It's a very interesting conversation. And I would guess the Washington schools are somewhere in that neighborhood. I would have to think that the University of Washington has to be 350,000, 400,000. I mean, Wazoo's probably got a smaller number, but it is a state school. So it's affordable. I can tell you that. Dakota Tubbs. That begs the question then, San Diego State, is Wazoo real? I don't believe that it is. I think it lives in a mirror. Kirk Schultz lives in a mirror. It's not.
I don't really get it.
Yeah. Ed Enriquez, the high-nosed academics killed the Pac-12, believing that they were more valuable than they were. Could be. I think as one person back in the day described it to us, it's not that they were snobby to the point where they're like, we're worth more than that. We're Stanford. It was that, oh, well, listen, look at this Mr. Rogers type cashmere sweater I'm wearing, and then tell me that sports matters here at Stanford. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Let those jocks over there, let them handle sports. I have a paper to grade, and I have a lecture to prepare for. You Neanderthals. I think that's what happened in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
I think you had a bunch of academias. This is what happened at Michigan. This is what happened at Washington State. Like it always happens at the higher learning institutions. When the academics start flexing their brains, and they're like, hey, we don't want this asshole Harbaugh ruining our good name. While you give him the largest contract ever, the pushback at Michigan for that contract was massive. Washington State, where they froze their budgets. Kirk Schultz had to release a public statement that we broke the news of on this show. If you remember, we're the ones who broke that story.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, the academics, the staff, was threatening to do a sit-in and were banging, quite literally banging on his office door to the point where Kirk Schultz released a statement saying all spending and new spending and budgets are frozen while we evaluate our situation. Because Kirk Schultz was allegedly giving a blank check to the athletic department, a la Bobby Robbins at Arizona. At some point, the academics flex their brains. We are not going to continue to have to use these generic ink pens. I want an inkwell in it.
It's so tiring.
You know what I mean? Like I need new textbooks. We don't need new sports turf. Fuck them.
Yeah,
right? Like
pretty much.
Ed Enriquez, don't worry, Monty. The Big 12 has some of the best truck stop food. We got you. Thank you. When I fly over the conference, should I land at the truck stop? Remember all that? Flyover conference, bro. I don't know about you, but I believe every university and every conference has a flight path over their university. Could be wrong. Georgetown be damned. Welcome to the nightmare. Finally getting to watch live this week. Congrats on 100K subs. Thank you very much. I found you guys off of a YouTube suggestion looking up Big 12 info last year. I'm a UCF grad. UCF, another great university to go to. And I think UCF will play a critical role in the future of the Big 12. I do. Scott of Graywater Watch. It would give the Big 10 the 3 hotbed recruiting. That I don't disagree with that. Cleave Croft killed the Pac-12 with his professor pricing expert.
Exactly the envelope calculations.
Listen, I'm going to need you to come up with a formula that says we're worth far more than we actually are.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Okay? All right. Do a dissertation at our next meeting. All right, cool.
What are we doing?
Chad Carter, make sure you bring the family back for Caps Lock Friday. Yeah, whatever Monty is an asshole guy said. Whatever your name is, bring it back. Aaron Wilson, get out of my way with that negativity. Yeah. Prick. Richard McDonald, I'm actually awake while the show is going. Yay, newborns. Oh, you have newborns. That's what you meant.
Yay.
Yay, newborns. Yay, newborns. I'm here for it. James, Big 12 fan and stadium guy for $5. I talked to A&M fans. They want out of the SEC. They don't want to be in the same league as the Longhorns. FSU just wants out of the ACC. So let me get this right. I'm just little old Big 12 homer over here.
And you're dying, apparently.
I'm fat Mormon, too. Let me get this right. You're saying that because you talk to Texas A&M fans, which is short for fanatics, and I'll refer you back to your Brandon Whedon's the greatest quarterback ever take. Ollie Gordon should win the Heisman Trophy, that take, and that
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
and the corn dogs in Dallas take, or excuse me, Tarrant County. And the fact that you're married to a Baylor fan. When you reference the fact that Texas A&M fans went out of the SEC and that Trev Alberts is here to take action, I'm just going to move on. I appreciate the $5 though. Texas A&M is. Can you imagine the back? They were all red. Okay. Monty dying from the Mormon diabetes.
At Chuckarama.
Chuckarama.
That's right.
Do you eat at buffets? When's the last time you went to a buffet?
I couldn't even tell you. Probably Las Vegas, Mandalay.
We're going to Las Vegas this weekend. Well,
Yeah,
I'm going. You're not.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to a buffet, and I think it's been since we went to Mandalay that one time.
Jake was supposed to go golfing, but he's not going to Vegas this weekend.
Via social media.
Yeah.
He's busy.
Yeah.
So he can't go. I haven't eaten at a buffet in when you're not in Vegas this weekend. Should we go to Mandalay?
Yeah, you should. I mean, I know you like it, but I like that breakfast spot.
I like it.
Yeah. The Mandalay buffet. That's your favorite. No? Isn't that the best? Seriously, isn't that the best buffet in Vegas?
I haven't been to a buffet in Vegas in years, so I used to.
No, but buffets in Vegas used to be a thing.
Yes, they did.
Like it used to be they would compete.
The Mandalay Bay buffet for breakfast, it's the best breakfast meal you're going to get ever.
Yeah, like
it's
they hand make everything, like
phenomenal. Eric Wasikowski, Monty the Fat Mormon.
Yeah, apparently.
You know me. I have on a t-shirt. You know, we don't wear t-shirts. That's an inside joke. Never mind. UW fan Jim, I think UW has a little over 500,000 living alumni. Okay. James, I will take you seriously until I see your video on the best Pee Wee football stadium across America. That's right, John Hamm.
Hi, this is James. Welcome back.
James, we're going to need some stadium reviews.
Bodex is playing well.
The Pop Warner Field in Stillwater.
That was a masterpiece of dog shit.
I'm going to need to know the depth and the level of the turf and what is the root system of the grass.
Can you measure it?
At Barry Sanders youth football complex, you know, and stuff. That's fine. RJC loaner phone. Jake going to Niagara Falls area, undisclosed location, meeting his girl. Are you going to Niagara Falls, Jake?
No, I wasn't aware of that, but you know.
Okay. Can make
Apparently
a call.
I am.
You can make a call. OG Gary, Wynn has the best buffet. Okay.
Haven't been to the buffet at the Wynn before, so.
We were supposed to be golfing with Boss Frog this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm buying a house. Whatever. We are playing TPC Las Vegas this weekend, though. So, you know. Jake lost my drop.
I didn't lose it. You just, you know, you want me to play it a lot.
Get out of my way, dude.
You know, which is fine. It's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Do you like? I don't eat at buffets. It is wild to me. Like, well, here in the great state of Utah, you know, Big 12 country.
Right.
Let's ride. Here in the great state of Utah, buffets are a thing.
That's right.
Like Chuckarama. What's the other one? I can't remember even the name of the other one. Anyway, Chuckarama.
Yeah.
Is
Golden
like
Corral.
Golden Corral. The parking lots are packed. And granted, most married couples in the LDS faith have multiple children. So, yeah, lots of soaking going on. But buffets are cost effective. But I'm not going to Sizzler. I'm not doing it. You can hook me up to a tow truck and you can drag my fat.
That's right.
I'm not actually Mormon, just for the record. You can drag my fat Mormon dying ass to a Sizzler. I won't eat.
Why don't you fuck off?
Yeah, I'm not doing it. You go on your own. You go on your own. Boyd Lake, Golden Corral, in South Provo. Those were the days. Yeah, OG Gary, that's right. There are Chinese buffets. Isn't You Like Buffet here? Or was that Phoenix? There was a buffet in, I think it was Phoenix. You Like Buffet? It's literally called You Like Buffet.
We show up.
Nah, I don't like buffet. Ain't nothing personal. You know, Noel Ramirez says Jake the Snake Roberts. Oh, okay.
Like what? Like what are y'all on this morning?
Okay. Richard McDonald for $2. Ryan Smith has small dick energy. I don't want to know. It's Wednesday. Let's get wild in the comments. Yeah, let's get wild in the comments section.
Macaque.
I do not want to know what his salamander looks like. That's unnecessary for me.
What are we doing?
I don't know what we're doing.
Don't blink.
Yeah, but we do show up. I mean,
We
is
show up.
Yeah, we do. You know, 1984 national champion Sizzler and El Segundo has valet. Well, I mean, if it's got a valet,
Dude. Come on, man. You know that this particular Sizzler has a valet.
That's right.
Okay. If that's how married to the game you are.
I'm over here trying to figure out a launch. I got a Flight Scope launch monitor last night. Finally figured it out. Like, I look at my watch, it's 8:00, and I'm like, hey, fat boy, what kind of Mormon are you that you're not going to eat dinner? Didn't eat dinner last night.
What are you, nuts?
Now, if you had told me that Sizzler has valet, well, shit, I'd have been there. But you didn't tell. Now you tell me that Sizzler and El Segundo. That's worth these words will never come out of my mouth again. That's worth the Southwest flight. I will never fly Southwest.
What are we doing?
And which pisses my wife off because my wife actually doesn't mind. She just did a triathlon in Hawaii, and she flew all the way from Salt Lake City to Hawaii on Southwest Airlines. And I'm just not.
No.
I am not going to sit next to the great unwashed in the commoners. I'm not doing that. That's why I fly Delta, so I can feel special.
Yeah.
I hate Southwest Airlines.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
Well, you're in Group A, but you're A97, so you're going to be sitting in
SuckMyAss.com.
Yeah, the only available seat in the A group is on the shitter, and that's a long flight. Small shitter too,
Dude.
You know, you got the twig and berries hanging down in the bowl. I would not hit the vacuum flush button when the twig and berries are down there in the hole, boy. You know. You fat dying Mormons, you have a bad habit of putting the D in the B in the C. You know what I'm saying? Should probably move on. Mike Smith, Southwest Airlines. If you want drama and people getting kicked off flights, we are for you. I think every miscreant in the universe flies Southwest or Spirit. Frontier.
Alaska.
I tried to convince my better half to fly Allegiant out of Provo to Las Vegas. Couldn't get a flight. What discount airline are you willing to fly?
Southwest is pretty much the only one. I mean,
would you fly Frontier?
No.
I flew many, many years ago. This had to be 15, 20 years ago now. I went snowboarding for my birthday with a buddy of mine up in Lake Tahoe. Pretty sure I took a Frontier Airlines propeller prop airplane. I will never do that again.
That's right.
Ever.
And it sucks.
I thought, dude, that was an hour and a half of holy shit, we're going to crash. From LAX to Reno, that was the worst flight ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. Robert Fowler, what's up, Bobby? On a side note, Monty, the Steelers are not picking up Fields' fifth-year option. Why would you? Why would you lock yourself into that guy? Dakota Tubbs, Utah is weird. Bro, you have no idea.
Yeah, you're telling me.
You have no. Do you know how many people apparently don't get sunlight in this state? The enormity of the white-skinned Utahn. My wife mocks me for my sock tan. I am the only one in this state. Because every other white dude in the state needs to get a lot more vitamin D. It's awkward. Boyd Lake, we know what Monty likes. 6-foot C cups, closest women's volleyball fan, dude. Have you seen volleyball shorts lately?
The cock.
You think it's an accident they're wearing knee pads? Jesus. I'm going to hell.
Is it possible that they could ride the D?
Boyd, you started this, not me. All pro sports are scripted. It is Wackadoo Wednesday on the Monty Show. After my vacation.
Hold on. Reggie Bush is getting his Heisman back.
Oh, my goodness. Fucking finally. Finally. I have talked about this forever. The enormous change in the college football landscape, according to Pete the Mole at ESPN. At ESPN. The trophy is going to be announced today. The decision comes amid what Heisman Trust calls the enormous change in the college football landscape. Good move or bad move?
Good move. Yeah, I think it's proper.
You think it's a good move?
I think that it would be ignorant to be like, yeah, well, Reggie broke the rules then. Even though everything he did then is applicable now and is legal now, we're still going to hold that over his head. Now, you needed to reinstate that.
I think you all know, if you've listened to the show, I think it's farcical. Reggie Bush, and we've actually argued this. I kid you not. We have actually argued this in the members only chat on Insta Snapface. I believe that Reggie Bush is the greatest college running back I've ever seen. Ever. Like forever and ever. And I think that this has always been a ridiculous highbrow move because we can't possibly be associated with somebody who got paid and had cars and condos. We can't possibly do that.
Student athletes shouldn't be paid.
We have to operate at a much higher level, rectally speaking, here at the Heisman Trophy Trust. And that young black man cannot have a trophy.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Because he took cash, cars, and condos, allegedly. All right, let's move on here at the Heisman Trophy Trust. I think that's what this was. And I think that Reggie Bush, whether you give him that Heisman Trophy or not, that season was one of the greatest college football accomplishments ever. He is the guy, and I was really fortunate to see him on a regular basis at SC. The guy was a freak of nature. And again, I know that all the Oklahoma State fans, man, you ever see Barry Sand? I did. Not in person, didn't cover him. Did you ever see Thurman Thompson? Not in person, I didn't cover him. But, bro, what about, and who else come? Jim Brown. Okay. Earl Christian Campbell, bitch. Okay. What did I say? Reggie Bush is the greatest college running back I've ever seen.
You know,
it's not close. I can't even think of another that I would put in the same cat. What, Tim Tebow? He was a quarterback. Well, he was a running and a tight end and a flanker. Tim Tebow, I think, is probably the best college football player. Reggie Bush is probably the best running back or not probably. He is the best running back I've ever seen. I'm happy for the guy. This is so stupid that they took his Heisman Trophy away. Richard McDaniels. McDaisy. I'm 34. Reggie is hands down the most exciting college football player I've seen in my time. It's Steve Stepanek. You forgot about Earl Campbell. Well, of course I did. Earl Christian Campbell.
Shut the fuck up, Tommy.
OG Gary. Amazing move. He outright won the trophy. He did. He did. You know, that awkward guy. But we all know, in all seriousness, Vince Young should have won it that year. I mean, how have we not made that?
I agree. That's one of the greatest college football games that's ever been played. But
ever.
Reggie should have won it that year.
Reggie, you know, UW fan Jim. The rules Reggie broke were illegal. Even then, they just had not been changed yet. Happy he gets it back. Those rules were illegal because it's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's illegal.
Tavon Austin versus Oklahoma. Best individual game I've seen from a college football player.
That's bullshit.
Absolutely could be. Could be. Let's see. Michael Comfort.
Like,
via social media.
It's Comfort. President of the Heisman Trust to ESPN. We considered the enormous change in college athletics over the last several years and deciding that now is the right time to reinstate the trophy for Reggie. We all know he had a better season than Vince Young. And he continued, Tavon Austin can suck a dick.
Macaque.
Today is about Reggie Bush. That is the direct quote from Michael Comfort, the president of the Heisman Trust.
We show up.
He actually didn't say that. It stopped at the part where to reinstate the trophy for Reggie. We considered the enormous change in college athletics over the last several years and deciding that now is the right time to reinstate the trophy for Reggie. We are so happy to welcome him back. Oh, I mean, Reggie, it is our great honor to unfuck you. And I just want you to know that as far as we're concerned, and when I say as far as, it was 2 knuckles deep, right? As far as we're concerned,
let me tell you what now.
That we've uninserted ourselves, rectally speaking. You can now do what OJ will never do, because frankly, OJ's dead. He'll never get his Heisman Trophy back.
I just try to stand strong.
But you, Reggie, you stayed strong. You stayed strong. I mean, wow. The job that you did, the way that you were able to maneuver the backfield with 2 knuckles in, I mean, that's unbelievable. Why don't you thank us and issue a statement talking about how great the Heisman Trust is? If I'm Reggie Bush, I come out and say, hey, these oppressive pricks.
Well, you're in luck. Pete Thamels just tweeted Reggie Bush's statement.
Oh, what did he say? Oh, and I haven't seen it. Oh, I'm so grateful today to the Heisman Trust for making this decision to complete my journey. He'll use either journey or destiny, one of those. I believe journey or destiny it has to be in the statement.
Oh, there's one in there. There is.
There's more than one in there, boy. Reggie Bush. I'm going to guess that he's going to say this closes the circle. This completes the chapter, reuniting me with my long lost little buddy of the trophy completes me. It completes me.
Because it's all part of the plan.
Let's pull up the Pete Thamel statement from Reg. Ooh, I got one right out of the gate. Personally, I'm thrilled to reunite with my fellow Heisman winners and to be part of the storied legacy of the Heisman Trophy. I'm honored to return to the Heisman. I'm honored to return to the Heisman family. I also look forward to working together with the Heisman Trust to advance the values and missions of taking condos and cars against rules in the NCAA Book of Rules to oppress young men.
Because it's illegal. I don't break the rules.
I'm so glad to be back in the circle jerk of Heisman winners.
So-called experts.
I can now get back to finding the real killers.
I mean,
So typical. So typical. Stepanik, have you seen that there was a serial killer that worked with Nicole Brown Simpson? He told the family that he killed her. I mean,
wow.
OJ's innocent. Give him his he's
the real
dead.
killer's still walking around.
The real
LA,
killers.
dude. Yeah.
The real killers. Yeah. The real killers. Steve Stepanik, best play by Heisman football is when Billy Sims jumped over the defender from the 5-yard line. Raise your hand if you've seen that play. No, go ahead, guys. Raise. Oh, nobody. None of you have seen. That's right. Okay, cool. That awkward guy. Did they get shamed into it when everyone called them out for that post on O.J. Simpson? He's dead now. Boyd Lake. Let's be honest. Do we think Vince Young was any less bought and paid for than Reginald Bush? Listen. Boyd. It's only speeding if there's a cop around.
Georgia.
Vince Young drives no faster than homie. The other, oh my God, the Kansas City Chief guy.
Rasheed.
Vince Young drives 54 miles an hour, just like Rasheed Rice did.
Don't you know who I am?
Rasheed was 100. That was 54.9 miles per hour.
Well, the problem was it was 2 cars, so 54
right.
50. Yeah.
That's 108 miles.
I'm
bad at math. My point is, don't say such hurtful. Vince Young was a good young man and stuff. You guys remember when the Titans were like, oh shit, he's going to kill himself. Call the cops. You remember that? Was Vince Young a successful NFL quarterback? How many Heisman Trophy winners? No, not doing it. Not doing it. It's just my personal preference. But I'd take Christian McCaffrey over Reggie Bush.
Bro, just stop. Just stop.
I would take Reggie Bush every day.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
College football player Reggie Bush every day over college football player Christian McCaffrey. But so does this mean the Michigan basketball team gets their banner back from the early 90s? Well, they did welcome them back. Chris is still calling timeouts and stuff. But, yeah, how about Michigan? Rasheed, say his name. I can't. He's moving too fast. Just NFL draft is tomorrow. I've heard that.
Wow.
How about okay. That awkward guy. I blame Jeff Fisher for Vince Young's NFL failure. Or maybe Vince just wasn't a good NFL quarterback. Good. He was good. Stepanik, Bo Jackson is close to Reggie Bush. You guys remember that play against Alabama where Bo? Oh no, neither do I, because I was still probably pissing in a diaper at that point. Bo Jackson's amazing. UT has been paying players for a while now. Well, I don't know what Tuskegee University has to do with this. I mean, or you mean Tennessee? Tennessee State? Okay. University of Tampa. Could be. RJC Loner Phone. Tony Dorsett was amazing. Yeah, that play in 74 where Tony took the handoff. And I had, the funny thing is, my mom had just fumbled me off her thigh at birth, like Tony had fumbled that. No, Frank. Nobody wants to talk about Franco Harris. No. Okay. Live from Bailey Park, Detroit. Exactly. Moth Prof, hit the like or no one likes you. That's right. Hit the like button. As we talk NFL draft, well, really kind of NFL draft. We have had, you guys, we're only at 41 likes. Come on, people. We've had over 700 views and we're only at 41 likes. Let's go. So breaking news, Reggie Bush gets his Heisman Trophy back. Congratulations to Reg. I think it's long overdue. We've talked about that ad nauseum on this show, and I'm thrilled for Reggie.
Yeah.
I think he was used as an example. They made an example of Reggie Bush, and I'm glad they undid that today. Hour number 2 of the Monty Show brought to you by Big O Tires in American Fork. Big O Tires in American Fork, Utah. When you buy 3 tires at Big O Tires, you get one free as long as you mention the Monty Show. You get 3 oil changes, you get one free when you mention the Monty Show. Find them on Instagram, Big O Tires AF on Instagram. Tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Let's talk about the NHL in Utah. Or, I mean, the NFL. This story quite pisses me off. So not only are the Bears going to bust on another NFL quarterback or college quarterback in the NFL draft tomorrow, but now they're asking the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois for $2 billion to build a new stadium. Because the folks at the racetrack on that manure pile in Arlington Heights wouldn't give the Chicago Bears a tax break. So they had to put their tail between their legs and come back to the Chicago Park District, and now they're going to ask for $2 billion to build a new stadium on the lakefront in Chicago. Jake, should they get it?
I mean, I think the taxpayers, again, shouldn't be paying for sports stadiums. I just think it's not the way business should be done. I think at least, the only silver lining I can see in this situation is that we're talking about lakefront still. We're not talking about some inland suburb that feels very random and out of place. So, I mean, at least we're talking about good location, but no, I mean, I don't think that taxpayers should have to build a football stadium. I just think it's we've never seen it work out positively. And there's a reason that every time you allow people to vote on these things, they say no, because we don't want to pay for those things. Like, at least with basketball and the NHL, I can kind of be like, yeah, I'm more willing to go to that, but I'm not going to pay to build a stadium where it's going to be 30 degrees and dumping snow. And they say, hey, there's been mixed results on if it's going to be retractable or if it's just going to be a dome. I've seen both reported. But the point just is that I don't know why we continue to ask taxpayers to fund this stuff when you own one of the iconic brands in the NFL. You're telling me that you can't find a way to get money to build this stadium. That to me is what I've always struggled with.
Yeah, I think it is very clear that this is another case, and just like Ryan Smith in Utah with the NHL, Ryan Smith is getting $1 billion tax increase. Taxpayers are going to fund what is believed to be a renovation of the Delta Center and a downtown Salt Lake entertainment district as Ryan Smith puts it, to rival LA Live. So you hate LA, and because everybody in Utah thinks LA is just this pile of dung. It's not. So you went to LA Live. Ryan Smith says he went to LA Live, and he's going to build an LA Live in Salt Lake City. The Chicago Bears, and here's the difference. The Bears will not own this new stadium. This will be a building in a district that is owned by the city of Chicago and the Park District. The only problem is they still have debt on their reconstructed Soldier Field, the spaceship. It's one of the smallest seating capacities in the NFL currently. So they want to, it's like trading in a car you're upside down on. They want to roll that debt into the new stadium. And the real issue is, much like Salt Lake City, I've said this 100 times, and I'll continue to say it. The real issue continues to be that Chicago has real-world problems. And when I say Chicago has real-world problems, we are talking about poverty on a level that you cannot comprehend. We are talking about crime on a level that you cannot comprehend. Gun violence, while it is steadily slowing in Chicago, is still a major problem. Quality education is a major problem in the city of Chicago. Yet what you want to do is you want to take these two parking lots in this park that you are seeing on the screen, and you want to build a new stadium there. You're willing to pay $2 billion, but you're going to want $2 billion, and it's probably $2.6 billion from taxpayers. And every politician, alderman, state senator, and legislature in Illinois and Chicago have said that's not going to happen. And again, this is a situation where the Bears don't want to put this on a ballot. The Bears want this to be a legislative initiative. It's not going to happen. And if you look at Kansas City, there's no better football team in the National Football League or organization than the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
They just signed all of their executives, including Andy Reid, to long-term extensions. And some believe the general manager and Andy Reid are the highest paid at their positions in the NFL now. But it's not public. You've won multiple Super Bowls. You are a dynasty. The citizens of Missouri said no to giving tax dollars to the Kansas City Chiefs to renovate Arrowhead Stadium. Part of that was building a new stadium for the Royals as well. Why would we approve a $2 billion handout to the Chicago Bears? I'm not for this in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, what have they done for the city lately? I mean, what have you, like, and this is what it always comes down to. Like, you want to sit here and be terrible for how long? And then you want to build a new stadium for what? What? Like, that's why I say, that's what I always say about the Ryan Smith thing. Dude, if you were winning, this would be a lot easier pill to swallow. This would, like we would be, it would be justified at this point. Oh, well, he's won a championship with the Jazz already, or even, honestly, even, hey, like, you got to the Western Conference Finals with a new roster in the Jazz. Like, you've put talent into the roster, you've competed. Yeah, did you get to the NBA Finals? No, but this team is really good. This team is going to compete every year. That's not the case. They're terrible. They're one of the worst teams in the league. And the Bears are the same way. The Bears are a team that have no idea how to develop talent. And I'm supposed to sit here and believe when they draft Caleb Williams tomorrow that this guy's going to be all world in that organization, that somehow the organization is going to give him everything he needs to be the first franchise quarterback the Chicago Bears have ever had. I don't believe that. I don't care who's running that ship. They're not going to do that, mainly because they're not capable of it.
Again, this is just my opinion. Guys like Ryan Smith, guys like the McCaskey family, guys like the Hunt family,
the Ricketts
family in Chicago, who get enormous tax breaks, I'm fine if you want to sell Ryan Smith dilapidated land in downtown Salt Lake City to build a new multi-purpose arena and entertainment district. Great. Sell it to him for $1. There's so many plots of land. If you don't know Salt Lake City, and why would you? There are so many plots downtown where buildings are abandoned, buildings are run down. They're homeless encampments, right? Like, okay, cool. Sell that land to him for $1 and let him build a stadium and an entertainment district. Do I love the fact that we're gentrifying and pushing people out? I don't, but that's the reality of who we are these days. If the Bears want to build a stadium downtown, one, I don't know that the right thing to do is to tear up more lakefront land to give it to the Chicago Bears, which will be a major point of contention. There is a trust that is charged with protecting the lakefront in Chicago. I don't believe they're just going to bow and let the Bears build a stadium there. I don't believe that's the case. The Bears, for obvious reasons, have also included parkland and green spaces into this new plan. You goddamn right you're gonna. Right? You better. But the biggest part of this is, and you have White Sox debt in this as well, but you have a ton of taxpayer debt. And we're talking about, I think WGN had an article last night talking about how it will take almost 100 years to unfuck the tax debt that this plan would create. 100 years. Because these debts never go away. They don't get paid off early. They don't get paid off well. And taxpayers always lose. And we won't. And again, I know you guys don't want to hear this. We're not going to fund teachers. We're not going to fund cops, firefighters, first responders. We're not going to take care of veterans. We're not going to take care of the addicted, the homeless. We're not going to help mental health. We are not going to work on all the initiatives that could actually raise the life expectancy for our young people that are starving, struggling, can't afford clothing for school. We raise money for that stuff on this show all the time because guys like Ryan Smith have their hand out for new stadiums. Guys like the Chicago Bears ownership group have their hands out when there's already significant debt on Soldier Field. Yet here we are.
Yep.
Here we are. I don't know what we're doing. UW fan Jim, put it to a vote. They may go for it. They do love the Bears. The Bears are an institution in Chicago. Nobody believes that the Bears should be allowed to move, and I don't believe the NFL would allow the Bears to move. Like the Kansas City Chiefs are not leaving the Kansas City metro area. What side of the line are they going to be in? KC Mo, or are they going to be in KC Kansas? I don't know. We'll find out. They're not leaving the Kansas City metro.
Yeah.
You don't move an NFL team with the history and tradition of the Chicago Bears. But what you also don't do is bankrupt kids to build stadiums for the Chicago Bears. Because that's what you're doing. That is what you are doing. And I don't see any way that that's going to fly.
Yep.
And I hope it doesn't. I truly, again, I think you guys know, I love the Chicago Bears. I am a passionate, diehard Chicago Bears fan. Give them public $2.6 billion in public tax money. Fuck them. Let them leave. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not even exaggerating. Do not give them public money. Don't do it. RJC Loaner Phone. Here we go to Bears. Brandon Butler. For the Bears, yes. For the White Sox, no. Janae can just use, consider it her 101 years of tax refunds.
But why for the Bears, dude? I mean, I get it. It's the NFL,
know.
but they haven't won anything. They haven't done anything.
Why give money to the Bears? I don't know. Giggity. But Monty, the billionaires' profits will improve the economy and help the team. No, I love that argument, Giggity. I agree with you. Oh, but Ryan Smith is going to bring new tax dollars with
more revenue in our local economy.
Okay. So again, I'm just asking for a friend. Different conversation in Chicago because NFL stadiums generally do well for the economy. Las Vegas, great example. But let me asking for a friend. Find me the hockey arena. Find me the NBA hockey combo arena that makes money and is profitable when the taxpayers paid for it. Because it's on my Twitter feed. I've shown you the graphic 100,000 effing times on this show. I don't know if it's still in here or not. But it is, no, it's not. That's the wrong thing. My bad. That was the loaner phone Apple text, which is amazing. Overwhelmingly, the hockey arena economic thing does not work. So giving the Bears $1 billion is ridiculous.
Yep.
You should not do it.
And yet they will.
And I don't know. I think it's going to be a huge fight in Chicago. Even Buddy in American Fork was blazing Ryan Smith yesterday with that same argument. Who's Buddy in American Fork? Did I miss some? Did somebody in Utah finally get on board with my opinion? I truly believe I am the only one in the state of Utah who doesn't think that this is a good financial idea. I mean, the NHL in Utah is a great idea. I think hockey can grow at an incremental rate. I'm not sold on Ryan Smith as a great owner of professional sports teams.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, why do you hate the NHL in Utah? It's not the NHL. It's not the hockey product.
Not at all.
It's the way we're doing it.
I love it. But I am telling you now, hockey arenas do not make taxpayers money. They do not fund businesses. And when you have an existing building that's renovated, it's not new money. Are there going to be 40 nights a year? Hopefully 50, 60 nights a year where hockey's played? There will be. But give me 25 years and then come back to me and show me. Oh, Monty, they paid off those bonds early. They never pay off those bonds. And rarely is it. I think there's one instance, and I don't remember where it was now, but I believe it was one instance where bonds were fully paid off early. And most times the bonds get extended. And the bigger issue is the businesses around those arenas do not thrive. They don't. And the biggest issue is like parking. Parking's terrible in downtown Salt Lake City.
Yeah, it's all street parking.
It is expensive, and it is not close to the arena. It's not. And it's a bad idea. There are not situations where you can point to. There's not. Brandon Butler, no, if you read the KSL boards, there are a bunch of pissed off people, really. But most people are just biting the pillow because they are not getting a choice, just going to smile and take it because it wasn't put on a ballot in Salt Lake City. Stepanek, we have problems at the borders that is affecting Chicago. They need to fix. But you can't look at the issues in Chicago and the taxpayer dollars in Chicago and say, send that to Texas or Arizona or California. It doesn't work that way. What you have to do is you have to say to yourself, what are the needs in Chicago, Cook County, and the state of Illinois that $2.6 billion can fix or at least aid? OG Gary, what I meant to say was your Big O Tires guy was mad glazing Ryan Smith was with that same argument. Yes, correct. Read that one already. Stepanek, we have problems at the border, and Elon paid his loan back early. Okay, let Elon Musk build the Bears a stadium then. That's all I'm saying. The only way football stadiums bring in more revenue to Chicago is if there's a roof on it so the city can host a Final Four, Super Bowl, WrestleMania. Football stadiums, and our friends in Tarrant County, AT&T Stadium is a perfect example of this. It makes money, but it's the Dallas Cowboys. It's an institution, and it's a year-round venue with huge concerts, huge bowl games, huge events.
It's a warm market.
Unquestioned. It's a huge, it's a massive difference. Massive. I think it is very interesting. Yeah. Eric Wasikowski, Chicago should worry about winning first. From a fucking fan of Detroit, you're talking about Chicago winning. You haven't won dick. Where's your Super Bowl trophy? Get out of here. Chicago should worry about winning first.
Yeah, it's a pretty that's a pretty rough take, bro.
The NFL draft is tomorrow. Is Caleb Williams going to be a success for the Chicago Bears?
I struggle with it. I think that he can be a success. I think he's got the talent, like he's got the tools, but I just don't believe in them to develop a quarterback. You haven't shown me you can do it. And frankly, that's the difference between you and successful organizations. The organizations that develop quarterbacks and take nobodies and turn them into somebodies are the ones that are really successful. And I would tell you, you got a head start with Caleb Williams because of how talented he is and the skill set he has. And yet somehow my feeling is the odds are that you're not going to be better.
I think Caleb Williams is set up to succeed there. I'm curious if Matt Eberflus is the guy to do it. Because the talent they have acquired, the infrastructure, the level of talent evaluators, and the money they put into it, they're doing things the right way now. Systematically, they are doing things the right way. I believe Caleb Williams has the talent and the skill set to succeed as an NFL quarterback. This is something the Bears have never done. They've never developed a draft pick into one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. They now have a system in place to do that, which is the first time I think we can ever say that. I think this is now or never. If he's a bust, I don't know where the Bears go at quarterback. Because how many times do you want the number one pick in the NFL draft? I would like it never. I would like it never. I would like it never.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think they have anywhere to go. I mean, you have to make it with Caleb, and if you don't, like you're going to have to make major changes. You're going to have to find a way like to get into a better spot. But we'll see. I just think that they got to prove they can develop someone.
OG Gary, if I'm the Bears, I take Jaden or Malik. Dude, stop with Jaden Daniels. He's not the best player in the draft. Like, I know you're an LSU fan, but I don't understand your obsession with Jaden Daniels. I think he is strictly going to be an average NFL quarterback. There's nothing special or unique about him. His best skill set is his personality. People really like him as a dude, but he is not, in my opinion, an elite quarterback in the NFL. He is going to have to prove that. He's going to have to prove that. And I just don't know how you I don't know how you justify taking him number one overall. Nobody agrees with that. Not a single talent evaluator agrees with that.
Yeah.
At all. Delaric, no, I told the Bears will F it up and draft Bo Nix. I think it's not Mitch Trubisky, I think, got ruined by the Bears. He was Mitch an NFL caliber quarterback? Probably. But when you play in a system that is set up to do exactly the opposite of what you do well,
it's tough.
It is. Heisman Trophy winners. Okay, that's cool. I feel he can. A ton of pressure being the second city savior, but they have the pieces around him, and they have the infrastructure now in management and personnel around him, like the coaching, the player development. They have invested tons into analytics and data now, which the Bears have never been an analytics-based talent evaluation department.
Do you think they can do what Houston did or even come close to it in year one?
Yeah, because they have better talent than Houston has. They have more refined, better. DJ Moore is a hell of a wide receiver. They're going to have to, the Bears have the talent to win games. I don't believe they have the head coach to facilitate that. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I'm going to be skeptical until it's proven. Loner Foam, Caleb is more likely than not to be a bust. Penix is the guy, in my opinion. Maybe. You could be right. Stepanek, Heisman Trophy winners are usually a bust in the NFL. Is Lamar a bust?
No.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. The question isn't Caleb, it's Chicago. I don't disagree with that at all. Fowler, my take as a diehard Bears fan, like you, Monty, is he is going to be the best QB in franchise history, but that's not saying much. That's not saying much. Who's the best modern era Chicago Bears quarterback? Probably Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
He needs to be as good or better than Jay Cutler for them to win. OG Gary, selfishly, I would love the Bears to send the first pick to my Saints so we can take Jaden. Double down on it. Double down on it. There's nothing that you look at with Jaden Daniels that says, man, that guy's got Super Bowl dynasty written all over him. Nothing. Nothing. Nada. Zip. But hey, that's why I'm a talk show host, right?
Yeah.
Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith wasn't a bust. He also is not a quarterback charged with leading a franchise. So
I don't think there's any question that the best quarterbacks in the league tend to be guys that are nobodies that sit behind a starter and then come in. That's the proven path to success. That's why, Patty's where he is. That's why any guy you want to look at, Buddy in Green Bay, like you've
Jordan
had,
Love.
Jordan Love, you've had the opportunity to sit behind someone who, personally I don't like, but there's no denying Aaron Rodgers understands what the defense is trying to do to him, understands how to read coverage and put his offense and his guy in the best possible position. So, I just think that, we can sit here and try to justify guys like Jaden Daniels or Drake May or Caleb Williams. The reality of the situation is these guys are coming in as pretty much raw talents and going to try and play a game that people want to say is similar to college football. And frankly, it has nothing to do with college football.
And again, with Jaden Daniels, I just go back to, if you're not going to stand in the pocket and throw the football, you're going to struggle in this league. And I think that CJ Stroud showed that. CJ Stroud is a pocket passer, and he's done quite well doing it.
But Monty, all the quarterbacks run around. Well, there's a difference, though. Like, CJ Stroud runs around for effect, like runs around to get the open passing lane. He's not trying to run for 10 yards and put his body on the line. He's not this guy that relies on the run to be productive.
I look at Patty Ice and KC. That guy does not run to run. He runs to throw. And he's done it quite well. And Jaden likes to escape the pocket almost every snap. And I also worry about his arm strength. I think his accuracy, his mechanics are not ideal. I look at guys like Drake May. Drake May has really good mechanics, throws the ball well. I look at Caleb Williams, really good mechanics, throws the ball well, throws from the pocket well, runs only to create passing opportunities. And if you give him the opportunity, right? But you look at a guy like Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels runs because he is not comfortable standing in the pocket. Jaden Daniels, a lot of times, you look at the way he throws the ball, his legs and his arms are rarely connected. So he floats the ball sometimes. He's high sometimes. He rarely is on frame with his throws, especially on the run. And it's something that worries you about guys in the NFL. And I look at the mediocre quarterbacks in the NFL, the Jared Goffs of the world, the Baker Mayfields of the world. They're not accurate on the move. Jared Goff is a pocket passer who's a statue.
Ryan Tannehill,
great arm, but I think you have to do more than that. I
think Jaden's stats tell the whole story, dude. You were 72% on 3,800 yards. Okay, that's solid. I would not characterize 72% as elite. I think that's very good. Elite would be 75 plus at the college level. So to me, coming into the league, I don't think we put enough emphasis on how different the NFL is than college football. You understand how much faster the NFL is? You understand that you're legitimately playing the best athletes in the world week in and week out. You're not getting, some gimme week, right? Like even the worst team in the NFL is better than 99% of college football teams that you'll see. Would Georgia or Alabama somewhat compete? Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. But I'm saying that wherever he goes, he's not going to be on a great team, right? Like these top end quarterbacks, the Bears are not a great team, right? That's why they're number 1 overall. Like that's my point. Like Jaden Daniels is going to need time to find his rhythm in the NFL because running around for 1,100 yards a season at the college level is not happening at the NFL
But
level.
who does, and I think it was Daniel Jeremiah, who I think is one of the best NFL guys in the business. Who does he compare Jaden Daniels to? Trey Lance in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not wrong. Jaden Daniels struggles for size and weight. And he's an arm thrower. That's the biggest thing I don't like about him. Jaden Daniels is an arm thrower. He is a guy that when you only throw with your arms, it's like the golf swing. When you don't swing with your whole body, you lose a bunch of yardage.
Yes.
When you don't throw with your legs in the NFL, you're not accurate and you don't get the ball down the field. And I think that's what Jaden's going to struggle with. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Let's see. Who else? Caleb Aylmore. At worst, Caleb will have a Trevor Lawrence type start, which might be disappointing, but at the end of the day, he is still leading the team to wins. He's got the intangibles. But they need to, if they don't win 10 games this year, I think Eberflus gets fired. I think the bar is exceptionally high in Chicago. Exceptionally high.
And 10 games is a big number.
Because they are spending an F ton of money, dude. They are spending on talent and infrastructure. And last year, the Chicago Bears finished 7-10. And the biggest difference is they had the worst offense in the NFC North. And it's absolutely what got them. And if you look at the teams below the Bears offensively, it's the Commanders, it's the Giants, it is the, teams like the Falcons and the Panthers. And you just start to recognize that you can't struggle offensively when you are the Buffalo Bills and you scored 100 more points than the Bears, the Ravens, the Browns, the Texans, the Jags, the Colts, the Chiefs, all of those teams, the elites of the NFL, far better offenses. So you're going to plug in your quarterback and you have wide receiver talent. You have great young tight ends. You can run the football. Your offensive line is better. You heavily invested on defense. If you don't win 10 games, I think Matt Eberflus is getting the axe.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you wouldn't. I truly don't know how you wouldn't. All pro sports are scripted. Brady Quinn only used his arm to throw, and we see how that worked out for him.
Yep.
My guy, Brady. I'm not hating on Jaden Daniels. I saw many of his games, all of his college career, including before Daniels was at LSU. I'm not hating on anybody. What I'm telling you is, when you are not a pocket passer, you are not going to succeed in the NFL.
I mean, it's just an evaluation. It's not making it personal. We're just looking at what he does and saying, hey, like, industry experts. Okay, cool. Say that we're wrong. Let's take our opinion out of it. Look at what people say about this cat. Like, they're not saying that he's a franchise guy. They're saying that yeah, Trey Lance, like, cool. Let's see him prove them wrong. If you ask me, hey, do I think that Jaden Daniels probably has a better shot at being a more efficient thrower of the football? I do think Jaden Daniels has a better shot to do that. Yeah, I do. He played in the SEC, played better talent, didn't play at wherever, what was it, North Dakota State, I think it was, for Trey Lance or whatever it was.
Yep.
Like, he played major college football and he did well, but that doesn't mean he's successful.
Does your success in college football easily translate to NFL success? For Caleb Williams, absolutely. He's playing Patrick Mahomes style football already. Does Jaden Daniels, who rarely the frustrating part is when Jaden Daniels steps and throws, good ball thrower. He has good footwork. But the problem is he doesn't use it. And his best, highest use is outside the pocket running the football. Dak Prescott used to be that guy. Can Jaden Daniels evolve? He can. But rarely guys with his package evolve. Rarely guys that look like him evolve into elite quarterbacks in the NFL. That's my biggest concern. You're comparing him to guys like Justin Fields. You're comparing him to guys like Trey Lance. Both have taken massive hits. Trey Lance, broken leg. Justin Fields constantly getting hit, and they don't call a penalty on the head hits to Justin Fields, but we'll see. Anyway, Boyd Lake, in the NFL, you have to be able to play well when the defense takes away your strength as a player. You do. I agree with that. 100%. Daniels can learn better mechanics and footwork. Daniels is strong at pre-snap processing. Great, but here's my question. Does he want to get outside of the pocket? Does he want to, on every snap, does he want to roll and throw the ball on the move? At LSU, generally he does. Generally he does. And that's, we'll see. We'll see. Does Jaden ever outperform Trey Lance? Well, yeah, I have to think he does. But where does he end up? Is it Washington? Because now most people think that Drake May's stock is rising. We'll find out tomorrow. But it is Jaden Daniels the number 2 or number 3 pick? If Free Harbaugh winds up in New England, I would be shocked.
Right.
I think it's a matter of who does Minnesota value and how much do they value him? Because there's going to be, there's so many teams that I think will step back.
Right.
So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how the Bears don't take a long snapper at 9. What do you guys think the Bears take at 9? The best wide receiver available, likely.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? You're going to draft Caleb Williams. You need to go out and get a wide receiver talent. That's what you need to do. And then I don't know off the top of my head what their picks deeper in the draft are, but whatever you have, I'd be focusing. Whatever you have at that point, I would be looking at. If you can get some offensive line talent, maybe or even just some depth. Because I think on your line you need depth. Because you're going to suffer injury there. That's probably what I'd do.
Yeah, I think it depends on what the Giants do. The Giants are not drafting quarterback. I think they're probably Malik Neighbors. And that's only because I am all in on Marvin Harrison to the Cardinals. I think they love that cat. And then my question is, at number 5, who picks at number 5? Because if it does go in the order that we think it's going to go, which is Caleb Williams, number 1 of the Bears, I think Jaden Daniels, number 2 to Washington, and I think Drake May, number 3 to New England. I would have the most concern for the quarterback who ends up in New England because I think that system sucks already. I have concern for that. Though I think that's your top 3. I think Arizona's taking Marvin Harrison 4. I think the Vikings probably move up to number 5. That'd be my guess. And if they move up to number 5, I have to believe that they're taking Free Harbaugh. Have to think they're taking him.
Yep.
Giants are 6. They're going to take wide receiver, which would pencil out to be Malik Neighbors. Titans are 7. Offensive line is the only answer you can have in 10. Defensive or offensive line. And then I think it's the Atlanta Falcons at 8. And they're going defense because they can't stop your mom from running. And their quarterback rush rate was terrible last year. Latu Latu, I've told you 100 times that's my guy there. I think that is the dude. And then I think the Bears wind up on probably Roma Dunze at 9. But there's a lot of belief that J.C. Latham, the offensive tackle at Alabama, is in play at that pick. And I also think that they are looking at I think Fuaga from Oregon State is probably far less likely there, but I think you're going to have a tough time not taking wide receiver or offensive tackle there. And I think they know that offensive tackle, if you add Rome Odunze to DJ Moore can be your over-the-top, dominant, big play wide receiver. And I think that Rome Odunze can be your battle bot at wide receiver. He can go up and make tough catches, and I think that's a nice pairing.
Yeah.
We'll see. I wonder what the fighting khaki dad bod god's going to do. Because I think if they wind up at 11, you're going offensive tackle. And I think that is, again, I think it's Latham out of Alabama at that point. Talisi Fuaga from Oregon State at that point is going to be there. Fashanu from Penn State should be there at that point. I also think looking at, oh my God, and his name is right out of my head right now. Tyler Guyton might be the best offensive tackle in the draft at Oklahoma. And I know that's crazy. I think whoever gets Tyler Guyton is going to get a steal in the draft. I'm telling you right now. They're going to get a steal. But OG Gary, I would take Brian Thomas before I take Rome. Okay. You have some of the wildest.
What the hell you're looking at.
Yeah, dude. I don't know like what you're looking at. Your fandom, Gary, colors your analysis, so it's wild. It's wild to me.
Yeah, I would love an explanation on what you're like, what you see or how you evaluate, or like what, I'll give you a pass on Daniels because you are an LSU guy. I get that. But that take is just crazy.
That you would take Brian Thomas over Rome Odunze. And just seeing the average composite for Brian Thomas, I think his composite, ESPN has him at 23 to San Diego, Los Angeles, Wales, Regina. There's nobody that's got him as a top 10 pick in this draft. And I don't know. Other than his ability, he has measurables, but I think the tape does not lie. Like it's awfully difficult. It's awfully difficult to look at his body of work and pick Brian Thomas over Rome Odunze. Like, and I'm open to the idea, but what are we looking at in a guy that really is? I mean, he truly is. I'm going to outrun the corner. Just throw it as deep as you can throw it. Right? Like that's his highest best use.
Burner.
That's his highest best use. Throw it as far as you can throw it, and I'll go chase it down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to outrun the corner. I don't. Is he a guy in Brian Thomas that can, well, we have this Swiss Army knife in Brian Thomas. Can you count on Brian Thomas on 3rd and 9 to run a 10-yard route? No, I don't think you can. Is this a guy on 4th and 6 and you call a curl that he's never been asked to do that?
Yeah.
You're not throwing him a playbook with 50 route combinations in it. He quite literally is a guy where you're like, I need you to run faster than that corner because I'm throwing it 60 yards down the field. Rome Odunze at least has a full complement of routes. He's shown you he can go up and contest, and he's shown you he can beat man pressure. Brian Thomas cannot beat man press. Has never shown you the ability to beat man press. Like it's just wild to me. I think you're trolling. That's what I think with this comment. I think OG Gary is trolling.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Big 12 fan James. To draft a running back, to draft a running quarterback from college, you have to have a good head coach, OC, QB coach. Look what Andy Reid did with McNabb in Philly and Mahomes in Kansas City. But Donovan McNabb was never an elite leader. The problem with guys like McNabb and the win with Patrick Mahomes is well respected, and he's an elite thrower of the football.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can compare Donovan McNabb to what's happening in the NFL today. I just think the game has changed too much. That's my opinion, though. But we'll see. We'll see. Where do you think Kingsley should be drafted? I think he's probably bottom of the first round, first 5 picks in the second round. We'll
I
see.
mean, that's proper.
Yeah. Loner phone. G-Men killing me. Danny Jones, I pray to the football gods he retires every day. He's another guy that he's got it inside. It's just a matter, you got to unlock that safe, dude. And you got to get it out there. But Big Blue Horses. Russell, RG3, Johnny Leaf, George, all big busts. Is Williams that guy? Russell who? You're saying Russell Wilson's a bust? I would love to have had the career that Russell Wilson has.
Yeah.
RG3 was a bust. Johnny Manziel was a bust. Ryan Leaf, a bust. George who? All big busts. Is Williams that guy? I don't think he is. Russell Wilson is not a bust.
No, he's had a good career. Hasn't had a good few years here, but he's had a good career.
He was not a bust at all. Oh, Jamarcus Russell. Jamarcus Russell was a bust for sure. RG3 was not a bust. Too many injuries, which made him a
bust. What do you mean he's not a bust, dude?
He's absolutely a bust. Let's see. RG3 was a bust, or was he just on a horribly? It doesn't matter. He couldn't stay on the field. He could not stay on the field in any way, shape, or form.
It's difficult to understand. The guy just didn't live up to it.
Yeah.
And now is talking all this junk about coming back. And I'm just like, dude.
Yeah. Look for the Chiefs to draft Ben Sinnott from K-State in the mid rounds. Maybe. I don't know that Ben's an NFL player. He's going to have to be a special teams guy.
Yeah.
To make it, to get a chance, in my opinion. All right, real quick. Amazon Prime yesterday rolled out a new grocery program.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great concept. I like going grocery shopping. I like, and this is my thing. So this program is Amazon Prime grocery delivery, $9.99 a month. And if you spend more than $35, delivery is free. Generally, think about it from Whole Foods. You take a dump at a Whole Foods, they'll charge you $35 for environmentally safe toilet paper. I love the concept. I hated Instacart during the pandemic. I thought they were not good. But you know why I don't use grocery delivery, and I don't think that I would? I want to pick out my own sweet potatoes. I want to pick out my own apples. I'm the guy that stands at Costco and they've had these great apples. I'm going to build a box of apples out of like 50 boxes of apples. I want to pick my own apples. I want to pick my own avocados. I want to make sure that I put my hands on every single egg that Jake eats at my house.
Yeah.
I want to pick out my own food. And I like getting out of the house. I'm a guy that works from home 99% of the time. So I want to get out of the house. I'm a guy that likes going to Costco. I like going to Harmon's. I'm not into this whole grocery delivery thing.
Yeah, well, and I think the other piece of it is that the customer service of it has always been poor. I like during the pandemic, like, the whole concept of, hey, open your trunk and we'll just pop it in there. I don't know. There's always a mess up with the order. They're always out of something. There's always some type of inconvenience with it. It's never just, here's the list you gave us. Here's what here's the list that I gave you. All the stuff on my list is in my trunk, and now I get to go home. It's never, and really, you don't have to leave the house. It's delivery. And I think the win, if you're into this type of thing, is it's unlimited deliveries, assuming that you spend $35, right? So like if you spend $35, it's free delivery, but you can do that as many times as you want as part of the service. Like, it's not like, hey, you can only order twice a month or something. So, I think it's a good program. I also think it's a great thing that, if someone is on food stamps, let's say, or something, there's a $4.99 tier that's more affordable for those folks. I think that's brilliant. I think that's great. But I would agree that getting your groceries delivered, while in theory is awesome, and I love that concept, it just doesn't work great because the people doing the picking and delivering are just not good at what they do.
Because they're Gen Zers and they're millennials. I don't want their masturbatory fingertips on my produce.
Yeah.
I don't. That's creepy. Capazzo, good morning, Capazzo. I trust no one when it comes to picking produce and meat. I'm super picky on both. Totally agree. Fat Jesus. The grocery store is where I meet my lady friends.
Note, it's plural.
Hey, dude. If you have never parked your car in a garage inside of the dairy freezer, you ain't living right. Stepanik, Monty, do you go to the farmer's market? Yes. In fact, one of the things that I love and I'm really looking forward to, my wife is a gangster. So she gets these farm to table boxes for us every week. And the produce is out of this world. The sweet potatoes, peaches, apples, cucumbers, squash, can't elope. Like all that, I love it. I am a huge believer in farm to table. And I actually enjoy going to farmers markets. We went to one in Wheat and got awesome produce. Yeah, for sure. Bobby Fowler, we only get our produce from our local farmers market. Love it. Love it. Sir Bob Loblaws, what comes after Gen Z? Gen AA? Yeah, what comes after Gen Z, dude?
I don't know.
Okay. Delaric, I ordered groceries, but I go to the farmer's market for veggies, and we have a butcher here, so I go there for meat. Nice. I do order. What do we order from Amazon, food-wise?
I don't know.
Certainly oats.
Yeah.
All of our supplements, the creatines, but what else do we get from Amazon? Protein bars. Yeah, now that Bucked Up is on Amazon, I get a lot from Amazon. I spend too much money. I got to stop. Dakota, the best place to pick pickles is and will always be at Joe Pa's Pickle Palace.
You could have just said, Pedo State Farmers Market. That would have been fine.
Or no, I shouldn't make an Ohio State wrestling reference because then Jim Jordan fans are going to come out of the woodwork and we get it. Come on, nothing. All right. Generation Alpha comes after Gen Z, I believe. Well, but isn't that Brian Thomas's Generation Alpha? And
let's just confirm this.
Sir Bob Loblaws. Oh, okay, bots are in the chat because no human would say that honeydew is better than cantaloupe.
Yeah, he's right. Generation Alpha.
I like it.
2010 to 2024.
Nobody likes honeydew melon.
No.
Nobody. Stop it. Gardner Village in West Jordan does farmers markets. We have one in Daybreak. We have a phenomenal farmers market in Daybreak. It's awesome, Gary. You should come by. You and Brian Thomas, after he busts out of the NFL, you guys can hang out. I'm biased because I've been running e-com teams for Walmart the last 4 years. You have to train people like they're your groceries. It's been a game-changing business. Yes, it has. Dude, you walk around Harmon's and you see the little people in their carts and racks. Beep, 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 beep. But again, I don't want your dirty butt-wiping fingers on my avocados. I am very particular about apples and bananas. Yeah. Fresh fruit from the farmers is the best. Yes, it is. But I agree with Mapes. It's been a game-changing, curbside delivery of groceries and home delivery of groceries has been an absolute revenue stream. And I think that this is very smart by Amazon, who is a very smart company. Sir Bob Lob, there are no human Jim Jordan fans. He is a weird guy.
Yeah, he's odd.
He's a weird guy. Does Dakota try the pickles from all sides?
The cock.
Let me ask you guys this. Are you paying attention to the Trump trial? What's the matter?
You're gonna piss people off, dude.
You know, one of the things
Yosemites.
I was on the news channel Scopes last night.
Vexes me.
And I think I want to say that it was MSNBC made a really good point. If you're Donald Trump, how difficult is it to sit up there and listen to Stormy Daniels talk about the sex you guys had? How difficult is it to have this David Pecker weirdo?
Nice name, dude.
From the Inquirer. I am fighting a body shaking sneeze right now. How awkward is it if you're Donnie to sit up there and have David Pecker talk about all the scandals he covered up for you? How difficult is it to sit there? Because Michael Cohen's going to get on the stand in this trial and just try to eviscerate Donnie. Do you know how hard that must be to be Donald Trump in that moment? And whatever you think of him. So let me get this right. I've denied cheating on my wife, yet a porn star and a lover in this Karen McDougal or whatever her name is going to testify that they were deeply in love and that they had a years-long affair where he asked her to have a child. And if you're Melania, like, are you sleeping in a different house? You ain't in a different room. So let me get this right. Your husband is having sex with porn stars, rando Playboy models. They read the transcript of the Access Hollywood bus or whatever that was, where he talked about grabbing him by the hoo-hee. Do you know how uncomfortable that must have been for him?
Yeah, really uncomfortable.
When you are a person of power and influence, which Donnie is, again, no matter what you think of him, to be called on the carpet like that has to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be miserable.
Ooh, that's got to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be very interesting to see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Which is the front of the pickle, Dakota? Bro, stop. Just stop. Stop.
Yeah.
The Monty Show is always presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. Have a good day. Hope you guys are well. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button on your way out the door. Thank you for subscribing to our channel on YouTube. Join the membership. $1.99 a month gets all your comments highlighted in red. $9.99 a month gets you into the members-only Instagram chat. Join our members-only content. DM Jake. He'll put you in the members-only Instagram chat. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.